Going live. You're live. All right, Jake. Good. Thank you. You see me, right? All right. We're live. Good morning, all. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a different place this morning. We have a COVID concern, so we are not going to the temple today. You are with me in my home. So we're going to start out with the Heart Sutra, and you can find that. If you went to the link in the newsletter, then you should have the Rituals and Practice book, and I think it's on page 8. So please join us for the Heart Sutra.
The Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion from the deep practice of Prajna Paramita perceived the emptiness of all 5 skandhas and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, nor extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but Prajna Paramita. Therefore the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Away from all perverted views one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, future, through faith in Prajna Paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the Prajna Paramita is the great Dharani, the radiant, peerless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain, This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the Prajna Paramita. Gate, gate, para gate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para gate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para gate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Dhamma Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra.
Thank you, Fanchen. Now we'll go back to page 7 for our refuge commitments, the 3 refuges. And we say together, I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion, and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. Good morning, all. Gamar Chadama Tova, which is a greeting to our Jewish friends. This is Yom Kippur, which starts tonight at sundown and goes till tomorrow at sundown. It's the Day of Atonement, and it's the holiest day of the year for the Jewish faith. Life is difficult at times, and what we've got going on right now is extremely difficult. many challenges. There's strong emotions leading up to this election. There's racial injustice and downright criminal acts. Ruth Bader Ginsburg has left us. We've got climate change and wild stuff going on the West Coast where I used to live. I've never heard of anything like this with all the wildfires. And of course, an old favorite, COVID-19. It feels like mental violence. And if you watch the news, it's just fanning the flames, dumping fuel on the fire, no matter what news agency you listen to, right, left, center. These are challenging times. It's like the old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times. So what's a good Buddhist supposed to do? Well, maybe a better question to ask is, what do you think you should do, whether you're a Buddhist or not? Where can we get some comfort? That's the title of our talk. Where can we find comfort? Well, to start, realizing some basic Buddhist principles and trying to put them into practice, which is emptiness, realizing oneness, 0 degrees of separation, nothing stands on its own, and everything is impermanent. In our morning bell chant, which we've decided not to do until we get back to the temple, it says that empty space is but a thread leaving nothing unconnected. Nothing. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Nothing unconnected. When I'm troubled, I learned a trick, kind of a trick, to see how important it really was about what I was troubled about. And it's to ask ourselves, will this matter tomorrow? A lot of times it will, sometimes it won't. Will it matter a week from now? Well, things go away pretty quickly in a week, maybe. How about a month? Or a year? Or decades? The only thing I can think of, an example personally for myself, is my sobriety. I surrendered and I gave myself to the steps and I worked them and I was given the gift of sobriety. And that's a lifetime thing. And it's maintained daily through a spiritual program. And nobody can take your sobriety away. Nobody can take mine away except me. But these things we're talking about with COVID and politics and climate change and all that, it has far-reaching implications. And we really aren't in control. And there could be some significant changes for us. Abortion, and no matter what side of the coin you're on, it's the same coin, but there's 2 sides. Civil rights, gay rights, health rights. Seems like they're all up for grabs these days. And what can we do for all those things, about these things, these troubles, or not? So we can vote. Strongly suggest that. We can protest. And there's a protest going on every Sunday here in Grand Rapids on 28th and Beltline from noon to 1:30. Black Lives Matter there. We can make phone calls. We can donate. But sometimes it just doesn't feel like it's enough. Like it's going out of control. Like we're on a big boat that's sinking and we need buckets to bail it out, and we've got a teacup. So where is that comfort? Well, one thing to remember is we don't have control over the events, but we do have control over how we respond to the events. One day at a time, one moment at a time. And it's good to remember another thing in the morning bell chant, which says, to understand the Buddhas of all time, just penetrate this one phrase. Everything is created by mind alone. Everything created by mind alone. So how we respond to situations, that's our mind responding. Buddha had a teaching called the five aggregates, which explains us, explains our existence, our consciousness. And it goes like this. First, we have a form, and I like the idea of the coffee pot. So there's our form, a coffee pot. Then there's a feeling, and it can be positive, negative, neutral. Then there's a perception. We pick one of those. And personally, I pick positive. And this is also called the five aggregates of clinging, five skandhas or five aggregates of clinging. And where clinging can really start is impulse. And boy, I love coffee. It's not just positive. Every morning, it's what I look forward to. It's a reason to get out of bed. And if the doctor says I'm going to die unless I stop, I'll think about it. And then those four altogether, our awareness of those form, feeling, thought, impulse. That gives us our consciousness, the fifth one. And that happens for everything. And that's the way Buddha explained it, our existence. There's many reactions to the same event. And another place we can find comfort is in our Heart Sutra that was chanted this morning. And it says, the Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna paramita. That's the perfection of wisdom. Now, it's not something we achieve once and don't have to work on it again. It's much more like the refuge commitments, which we said, I go to the Buddha for my refuge, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion. And the refuges is another place we can find comfort. But all of them end with, which must be cultivated to be known fully. And that's true of wisdom. Let's say we're planting a garden. Let's call it our wisdom garden. Well, we water it, fertilize it, allow the sun to shine on it. That's our compassion, our water compassion, our fertilized compassion, our sunshine, the light on it, compassion. And they have to be weeded, and the weeds keep coming up, and that's the three poisons: greed, anger, and delusion. So we try to pull those out by the root, but they do come back for us. So we have this garden we've planted, and let's enjoy it. Let's embrace the wonderful wisdom of vegetables of wisdom. I read an article and I forget the guy's name, but he had a great little bit here. He said, so each of us must decide how we will engage our life at this moment, at this time, and turn negative energy into a positive life force. Another place where I personally find comfort is the Lojong practice. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a Lojong practice. A link was in the newsletter. So if you've got it, and hopefully you printed it out, you can follow along. And just a side note, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter and you want to know more about what's going on at our temple in Grand Rapids, you can go to zengr.org and scroll down, and there's a little button you can hit for subscribe to the newsletter, and you will know everything that's going on at the temple. And we're not in the temple right now, obviously. So we have a lot of things that we offer online. And you can, if you can get a computer, you can, no matter where you are, you can join us if that sounds like something good to you. And what we have coming up right now is a class on Buddhism basics, beginning Buddhism. And that happens next Saturday. And you can go on to that, to our newsletter, and sign up for that class if that interests you. If you don't have the newsletter and you are interested, you can scroll down to clergy and on zengr.org, and we'll get you signed up. One of us will. So we're going to start. We'll read one reflection. I will strike the bowl one time, and when we do our reflection about tuning for compassion, it's a 12th century Tibetan Buddhist discipline, and we are going to start that again in November. We do it on full moon at every month at 6 o'clock at the temple. Now it'll be online, and we'll get that set up for the first full moon in November. But right now we're due about 10 reflections, 2 minutes each. And at the end of that time, we'll sit for about 5 minutes. And if you have any questions or comments, I will grab the computer and look at the chatting and answer anything that you may want to ask, or at least I'll try to answer it. One answer is, I don't know. So we'll begin with 3 strikes of the bell. And together we say, my current suffering is due to negative actions, attitudes, thoughts, and emotions I performed in the past. And whatever I think, say, and do now will determine what I experience and become in the future. I pursue my spiritual practices with enthusiasm and positive intentions. And I'll say that once again for some of you who may not have this. My current suffering is due to negative actions, attitudes, thoughts, and emotions I performed in the past. And whatever I think, say, and do now will determine what I experience and become in the future. I pursue my spiritual practices with enthusiasm and positive intentions. In my every action, I watch my mind, and the moment destructive emotions arise, I will confront them strongly and avert them, since they will hurt both me and others. In my every action, I watch my mind, and the moment destructive emotions arise, I will confront them strongly and avert them, since they will hurt both me and others. My life could have easily been different. I might have died in infancy, be suffering in grinding poverty, or experiencing any of the things that are contrary to pursuing a spiritual life. I am truly fortunate indeed. My life could have been easily different. I might have died in infancy, be suffering in grinding poverty, or be experiencing any of the things that are contrary to pursuing a spiritual life. I am truly fortunate indeed. May I have the power to go beyond selfish absorption and engage with others. When I become enmeshed in selfishness, I will offer my own happiness to living beings so as to counteract it. In the same way, should a companion be ungrateful to me, I will be content in knowing that this is retribution for my own inconstancy. May I have the power to go beyond selfish absorption and engage with others. When I become enmeshed in selfishness, I will offer my own happiness to living beings so as to counteract it. In the same way, should a companion be ungrateful to me, I will be content in knowing that this is retribution for my own inconstancy. If even mountains are subject to change and dissolution, how much more so is my body, which is susceptible to disease, breakdown, the elements, accidents, and all kinds of harm. I must utilize my opportunities now before that chance is lost forever. If even mountains are subject to change and dissolution, how much more so is my body, which is susceptible to disease, breakdown, the elements, accidents, and all kinds of harm. I must utilize my opportunities now before that chance is lost forever. Am I thinking more of others than myself? Am I thinking more of others than myself? Am I more aware and mindful? Am I more aware and mindful? Do I spend too much time pondering others and their weaknesses? Do I spend too much time pondering others and their weaknesses? Do I malign others and hold grudges? Have I practiced the main points? Others before self and awakening compassion. Have I practiced the main points? Others before self, awakening compassion. Now, I'll give you a couple minutes. We can sit in silence and just allow that to wash over you. And if you have any comments, questions, you can take this time and do them in the chat. I've got to shove off the recording and save that for later. So, move the camera here a little bit and see what we've been chatting. Good morning, Jeremy and Jake, Z, Co, up north, Shane. Yes, thank you for the beautiful Heart Sutra Fansion. Ellen and Pete, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Thanks for the Lojan, Ellen. All right, folks. Well, I had a great time. Hope you did too. And we'll see you again next week.